Hi class, Brother Dixon here. I wanted to do a quick screencast of one of the problems that we had from your life plan part 2 last week. So this looks very familiar to all of you. The reason I wanted to do this was because I saw on multiple people's Excel spreadsheets that they were probably calculating it using a calculator and then maybe just putting the numbers into Excel. And what I wanted to do here was kind of show you a better way to utilize Excel, so that way as we're using it in the class, you're learning how to use Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and do this problem for you like I would do. So I would come here, so here it is. So you all know we have $100, we have a 6% interest rate, which you are able to add $25 per year. And then it wants you to fill out this table. So in order to make it easier to calculate things, I like to put in a couple more columns. So I know this table here only shows the 3, but I'm going to add in a couple more. So I'm going to right click, insert, it's going to put one there, and then I'm going to right click and insert one more. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I'm going to have my beginning balance, so my year 1, and my beginning balance of 100. But then I want to add a column for the amount added each year, and then I want a column for my interest rate, which we know was 6%. So 0.06, oops, 0.06, and that is a percentage. And the amount added each year is $25. So then over here I'm going to calculate what my ending balance is for the end of the year. So I'm going to say equals $100 times my 6% interest rate. So that right there gets me basically how much interest was added. Plus, I already had $100, so now I've done the $100 plus the little bit of interest that I've gained, and I want to add that extra $25 that I'm going to put into my account each year. And I go ahead and hit enter. And I get that at the end of year 1, I have $131. So then for year 2, my beginning balance is going to just be what the end of year 1 was, right? So I'm going to, rather than writing in, see, I could just write in 131, but rather than doing that, I'm going to say this cell equals my ending balance. And I'll show you kind of at the end why I want to do that. Now my amount added, I'm just going to say this equals the cell above it because it's not going to change. I still want it to be that. I'm going to say this equals the cell above that. And then now I want to show you one of the neat little tricks in Excel. I don't know if you all know this, but if you come to the corner here and it kind of does that black cross there, then I can pull this down and it's automatically going to do the calculation. So when I was doing this, it just pulled from all these. So when I drag that down like I did, what it does is it assumes I'm wanting to do the same order of operations just with the cells on this row. So it makes it real easy. Now it's going to even get cooler. So Excel can it can tell if you're trying to do a pattern. So I have a 1, 2 here, right? If I start dragging this down, you see that black thing again, the black cross. You pull it down, you see the number 3. It's going to think you want a 3, 4, 5. So I can drag this all the way down to 12 because I want to do 12 years, right? And then I can come over here and I can highlight all these. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get it to that black X and I'm going to pull this all the way down to year 12. Boom. There it all is, automatically populated. So what it's doing is, see here I said equals E4. On this one, it's just going to assume that I want to shift it down 1. So Excel is really great because you can have it manipulate things for you, and it's gonna make some assumptions. So it's good to go back and make sure that you know what the assumptions are or what you want it to be, because later on maybe you don't want it to shift cells down, and there's ways to do that, but we won't get into that yet. But that's just a quick way to really utilize an Excel. And then what happens here is now this is all kind of built as a function. And so what I can do is, you know, this was for the homework problem, but say you were really wanting to do this. And you want to say, you know, how much am I going to have in 12 years? Well, I'm going to I can invest $200 into my bank account. Well, what does that do? And when I enter 200 at my beginning, watch this. Everything automatically updates because everything's linked together. If you hadn't done this, then you would be sitting there typing it in on your calculator for each year. So this is one of the beauties of Excel. This is why it's important to learn Excel. And you can kind of see, wow, okay, so I started with an extra $100. I still am only adding 25, and look at the end of 12 years, I basically almost got an extra $200 just by starting with $100 more. Now you can start playing around with, well, if I want to, what if I want to add $50? What does that do? Well, wow. And then what if I can find a better interest rate at 10%? What does that do? And things like that. So you can kind of start playing around with these first three, your starting position, to kind of see what that would do. So it kind of helps, it builds a little more useful of a tool for you to be able to use in the future. So I'll switch this back to what our homework problem was so you guys can see that. So I guess a couple formatting things I should have gone in here and said that this was all currency. Same with this, just to make it look a little nicer. But anyways, if you have questions on how to do things like this in Excel, feel free to reach out for me. I'm happy to make these tutorial videos to help anyone out as you're learning Excel. So I hope this helped, and I hope you guys have a great week this week.